Well, I think it's fair to say that a lot of us on this side of the country are not all that familiar with the name Kelly O'Dwyer. Kelly is a young federal Liberal MP. She represents the electorate of Higgins in Melbourne. Now, she's a very bright lady, having read law at the University of Melbourne and after graduation worked for the well-known law firm of Freehills. She then joined the staff of then Federal Treasurer Peter Costello, and when Mr Costello resigned, she successfully sought pre-election for Higgins, a very safe metropolitan Liberal seat. Well, the Liberals clearly feel that at age 35, and with her background, Kelly O'Dwyer is destined for great things, particularly if her party wins government at the next federal election. Now, that's the profile of Kelly O'Dwyer, who I said is very low profile, particularly as far as we're concerned in the West. However, Ms Dwyer has suddenly become a little better known thanks to Twitter. Now, she's believed to have tweeted that Australian-born citizens should get priority to become parliamentarians. Her tweet was directed to Labor Senator Doug Cameron at his outrage at his government's decision to allow Gina Rinehart to employ those 1,700 workers from overseas. Ms O'Dwyer... Doug Cameron, by the way, is... is Kelly has left herself open to some ridicule by those keen to point out Australian born. Tony Abbott came into the world in London, and for that matter Prime Minister Julia, well, she was born elsewhere in the United Kingdom too. Kelly O'Dwyer has to agree to talk with us this afternoon. G'day, Kelly.
G'day, Harvey. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's good.
You got a bit of egg on your face on this one?
No, look, Harvey, I think it's important, firstly, just to correct the record in terms of what I did actually tweet today.
Right.
Senator Cameron did a doorstop today where he went against the Prime Minister and against the government with the position that they took on this enterprise migration agreement that was signed with Gina Rinehart's company in relation to the Roy Hill iron ore mine. And I tweeted, Senator Cameron says we should prioritise Australia for bringing in foreigners. Does this also apply to senators? So my tweet was clearly ironic, it was clearly humorous, and I think in the case of a number of commentators, not yourself of course, Harvey, but I think a number of people have deliberately misinterpreted my tweet because of course we in the coalition have no problem with skilled migration, never have, never will. It is in fact the government that completely erupted over this issue. Huge splits have emerged, and that's why we've seen different doorstops by different members of Parliament, including Senator Cameron himself, coming out criticising the government policy on this. And we had the amazing spectacle in question time only today where both the Prime Minister and Minister for Immigration weren't able to answer very straight questions directed at who knew what when and whether they in fact supported the policy. So we've got a split in the leadership as well. So Harvey, I was simply highlighting the fact that there's a bit of hypocrisy going on in the government right now on this question. We believe it's important.
Problem with those texts and Kelly is that it can be misinterpreted. Hearing you and the nuances of your voice and everything else puts it in a different context. But people have really jumped on you, and there've been a few tweets in reply, of course, as you.
Well, look, it's a brutal world out there in the Twitter sphere, that's for sure. But I don't think those of us who do have a sense of humour, who do like to use a little bit of humour to highlight the hypocrisy of the government from time to time, I don't think that should deter us. And let's be honest, if it weren't for our immigration program, we wouldn't have people like Doug Cameron in the Senate. And that frankly would be a bit of a shame, because while I don't agree, he's somebody who is, passionate in advocating his cause, and there's a place for him in doing just that. We believe skilled migration, very important to Australia, very important to growing our economy, and the big split, the big story of the day is the fact that the government itself is tearing itself apart over this issue. We'll erupt tomorrow in their caucus party room meeting. Yeah,
of course you've got Senators Eric Abetz, I think he's German born. I think certainly Matthias Cormann was.
Sure, absolutely, who you know very well in WA.
Yeah, we do. Nigel Scullion, not sure whether he was born, but he's a country Liberal Party senator. So the place is bristling with those born out of the country. I think 13 of the 76 senators, somebody told me, were born outside our shores. However, we now know a lot about Kelly O'Dwyer. the richer for the experience, Kelly. Now, you'll be no doubt defending Higgins, and you could probably, not even turn up on the day, and you're going to bolt in because it's a very safe Liberal seat that was Peter Costello's. And, well, at the moment, it looks as though you will achieve government in about 18 months. Are you sort of having a little sort of tweet or a whisper in Tony Abbott's ear, I'd be a really good first-term minister, Mr Abbott?
Well, look, we've got an amazing front bench lineup already. In fact, we have on our side of the Parliament an embarrassment of riches, and Tony's got a number of very experienced people who are in his front bench team. I'm lucky to have already been given a bit of a job by Tony Abbott as the Deputy Chairman of the Coalition's Deregulation Task Force, and I've actually been travelling right around the country as well as to Perth, where we've been looking at trying to cut $1 billion of red tape and regulation, particularly from small business, which at the moment is having such a stifling effect. So I've got plenty of things to get on with. I'm very much part of the team, and certainly we're going to do our bit to hold the government to account and to bring forward what much better, more positives for when we have the opportunity to, in fact, govern.
Spoken like a true lawyer. And in parliamentary terms, you are a babe in arms.
Well, I'm one of the new kids on the block here, and I recognise that there's a lot of great wealth of experience here. I'm certainly very keen to play my part, and I've been doing that behind the scenes, and also, as you know, with a bit of tweeting from time to time, and also a bit of media as well.
Kelly, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thanks very much, Harvey. Nice to speak with you.
There you go. Kelly O'Dwyer. She's got a big future, that lady, believe me. If you happen to a Liberal, that's what she's telling me. Anyway.